Hello, YouTube family. I know it's been a couple weeks. I really suck at this. I do apologize, but things will be a lot less chaotic soon. We're moving to Colorado in 2 weeks. We're so excited, and I'll be more consistent with posting every Friday, but I actually have some content lined up for the next 2 Fridays anyway, and that next week definitely ties into what we're going to talk about today. Next week, I'm going to post a full day of eating vegetarian style, and I thought today would be a good day to talk about how and a little bit of why I'm reducing my meat consumption. So I don't want to get into the details of it. Really, the video is about how I did it. In case this is something that you're interested in doing, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, it's something that interests you. So basically the why of it was that it's moral reasons, and I also found that it's a lot cheaper to not, and easier to not cook with meat. So I'm really liking this lifestyle change a lot. In the past, I have tried to become vegetarian and I would just completely cut out meat, and it would only last for a month or two and then I would give it up. It felt too restrictive. It was too big of a lifestyle change for me to just completely cut out meat. So this time around, I told myself I'm gonna reduce my consumption. And I've been doing this for, gosh, like 4 months now. And I went from eating meat 2 to 3 times every day to eating meat 2 to 3 times a week now. So slowly I've gotten to this point, and it's something that I feel really good about. It's really easy to do. It just comes naturally, but I allowed myself that time to adjust to a different lifestyle. So it's been really helpful just reducing my consumption instead of trying to completely cut it out. So if that's something that you want to do, I highly recommend just trying to reduce that consumption first and taking it slowly, because it is an adjustment. But the point of this video is to tell you guys that it is totally possible to reach your protein and not eat meat. And that's what I want to talk about today, and kind of the importance of getting enough protein. And so I just wanted to start the video by telling you guys why a high protein, I wrote some notes just so I don't start rambling, because I do that often. So I wrote some notes, and the first thing I wanted to talk about was, why is a high protein diet important? So a high protein diet is important for a healthy lifestyle for 2 reasons. One, eating enough protein is going to ensure that you're maintaining, or even building in some cases, your muscle mass, which is going to be important because that's going to allow you to burn more calories at rest. It's going to allow you to be at a lower body fat percent, and also it is going to keep you more satisfied. Protein digests slower than the other macros, so eating a high protein diet is going to help keep you satisfied and kind of help with cravings, not having so many cravings or not overeating easily. So those are 2 really important reasons. But if you're trying to lose weight, those reasons are extra important, because obviously you're going to be at a calorie deficit when you're trying to lose weight. So eating a high protein diet is going to be helpful to keep you fuller longer. And again, if you're trying to lose weight, you want to ensure that you're losing mainly fat over muscle. So eating enough protein is going to help ensure that that happens. So those are the reasons why it's important to get a high protein diet in. And I wanted to talk to you about how I made the changes. So again, the first tip was taking it slow, making it an adjustment that occurred over time, not just cutting out meat immediately. And that allowed me to learn what things I need to add in my diet to make up for the protein that I was missing with eating that meat. And I'm going to show you guys examples of what I eat in a day, but just 3 things that I would suggest keeping around 3 like food groups would be whole grains. So things like brown rice, whole grain pasta, whole grain breads. Those things are going to be relatively high in protein as opposed to like the bleached flour, white flour kind of food. So I would definitely suggest buying whole wheat or whole grain, anything that you can. Another one that you're going to want to keep around is beans and lentils. I incorporate beans every day in my food. I eat a lot of like Mexican style Spanish food, and I love putting red beans or black beans in that. You can do like a vegetarian chili with a bunch of different beans, or you can just put beans on like a taco salad without meat, obviously. You can just do like fajita bowls. I'll talk about that in a second. I make those a lot. But beans are going to be huge. Split pea soup, the lentils and the peas and split pea soup are going to create a really high protein soup. So I would suggest keeping those around. And the third one is going to be dairy. Remember, this is not a vegan diet. I'm not a vegan. I'm trying to be vegetarian. So dairy is going to be super duper helpful. Greek yogurt, low-fat cottage cheese, low-fat shredded cheese, or they even have sliced cheese now. I use Fairlife milk a lot. It's really high in protein. It has like 12 or 13 grams of protein per serving. So dairy, lentils and beans, and whole grains, those are going to be staples in your diet, like most likely. And the fourth one is find a good protein powder that you enjoy. That has been super helpful for me. On days that I work out, like lift weights, I have 2 protein shakes. I have one before/during. I'll drink half of it before, half of it during my workout, and then I drink one before bed. And then on rest days that I don't train, I just have 1 protein shake a day. But that's super helpful to allowing me to reach my goal. And typically on a rest day, I eat around 120 grams protein. And on a training day, I eat around 140 grams protein. So I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like for my diet with not eating meat. And I'm gonna film a video next week showing you guys hands-on what it looks like for me to eat a vegetarian diet. So next Friday it'll be a full day of eating vegetarian style. So definitely check that out. But I wanted to leave you guys with some ideas. And again, this is just what I do. It can obviously be different for you. Pinterest has saved my life. I just type in vegetarian meals and I find a ton of meals for dinner or lunch or dinner really. But I keep it pretty simple. I'm a creature of habit. I like simple, consistent, structured meals. So for the most part, for breakfast, I eat a lot of eggs and egg whites, mainly egg whites, because it's really easy for me to go over my fat intake. So I'll usually just do 1 egg and then 4 or 5 egg whites from the carton. And I'll put, some vegetables in that, and I'll sprinkle it with some low-fat shredded cheese. That's gonna help with the protein as well. And then I'll have like a whole grain why can't I talk? A whole grain piece of toast with it, because again, the whole grains are gonna sneak in 4 to 5 extra grams of protein. If I'm having 2 slices, it's like 10 grams of protein for 2 slices of whole wheat bread. So that's super helpful. And then the other thing that I usually have as breakfast, I'll swap these items. So one day I'll have the eggs, the next day I'll have protein oatmeal. You make your oatmeal as you normally would, and then take it off the heat if you're doing it on the stove, or allow it to cool for a minute if you did it in the microwave. Because if you add the protein powder before you cook it, or while it's too hot, it's gonna kind of cook into it and get a little cakey. You don't want that. So allow it to cool for a minute and then add a scoop of protein powder in. It's so good. And I always add cinnamon, a little bit of peanut butter, and like an apple or some berries to my oatmeal. And it's so delicious. I love it so much. So for some snack ideas, typically what I do is I do a Greek yogurt parfait. So I'll do like a cup of plain Greek yogurt. It's around 20 grams protein right there. I'll do a cup of blueberries or blackberries with it, just get my fiber in, and then a little bit of granola, just a sprinkle. And then on days that I train, that is when I have my protein shake. And the way I make my protein shake is natural orange juice as the base, a scoop of protein powder, and then a handful of frozen berries, because it's really, really delicious. It tastes like an orangesicle, and it's good carbs for my workout and protein to help repair my muscles. So some lunch ideas, I still eat fish sometimes. So pretty often I have been relying on fish at lunch, and whether that just be like a tuna pouch and I'll do light mayo and Greek yogurt and make like a tuna salad, or I'll just put the tuna over a bed of lettuce, or I'll buy the wild caught salmon fillets, like in the frozen section, so it's really easy to make. I just bought shrimp this week. I'm not a huge shrimp fan, but I'm gonna try to incorporate that in some like cauliflower rice and vegetables, and hopefully I'll like that. So I've been messing with fish at lunch to make this transition again a little bit easier for me. But another thing that I do often for lunch is like a rice and beans thing. So again, rice and beans are really helpful for me. I do like black beans with brown rice, and both of those are gonna give me some protein. And then I'll mix in some sauteed vegetables, usually peppers and onions, a little bit of salsa and Greek yogurt on top with some spices. It's really good, and it's pretty high in protein. It's like almost 30 grams protein for that. And then for dinner, it's always different. So I try to keep structure again in my other meals throughout the day, so I can be more flexible at dinner, so I can pretty much just have whatever I want, and I know that it's gonna fit into my needs, because I was more careful and conscious throughout the rest of the day. So dinner, we rotate a lot of different recipes. Again, Pinterest has been super helpful for finding vegetarian meals, but a lot of the recipes on my blog, I've been able to just make meatless, and they're still super delicious. So things like the skinny fried rice, I just don't add chicken to that. The lau mein, don't add chicken to it or shrimp to it. We do homemade pizzas a lot, and Tom loves tacos, so sometimes he'll buy beef for his tacos, and sometimes he will do the veggie tacos with me, but I'll just do like sauteed peppers and onions in my taco shell with, again, the same things like black beans, low-fat Mexican cheese, and a little bit of Greek yogurt with cilantro, salsa, that good stuff. But yeah, a lot of different things for dinner. We do a lot of pasta dishes. I love pasta. I love Italian food so much. So we do a lot of that without meat. And if I've used a lot of carbs throughout the day, and again, like I don't track anymore, so I don't know exactly how many carbs I'm eating per day, but I've done it for so long that I am good at having a close idea of where I'm at. So if I know I've had a lot of carbs throughout the day, then I'll usually do spaghetti squash or zucchini noodles for my replacement for whole grain pasta. It just depends on what I had throughout the day. And again, like soups, like the split pea soup is a really good one. And then I've got other soups on my blog that are meatless. I've got a broccoli and cheddar tortellini soup I made last week. It's on my blog. It's so good. And it's got like, I want to say 20, don't quote me on it. I think it's 20 grams protein per serving, something like that. It's so good though. But there's a couple of soups up there. And any ones that have meat in them, it's super easy to take meat out. I know I have a taco soup that's got meat in it. Just don't use the meat and maybe replace it with an extra kind of bean and you're set. You're good to go. Dessert every single night is a protein shake, but it's a delicious protein shake. I love it. I love it. If you follow me for a while, you know that I love ice cream and frozen yogurt more than anything. But because I made this change, I needed more protein in my diet. I needed to make my dessert high in protein. And this is what I do now. I do half a cup of Fairlife chocolate milk because that Fairlife chocolate milk has like 13 grams protein per serving. I do a scoop of protein powder, and I shop at Publix in Florida. They have a frozen yogurt line that the chocolate is 1 gram fat for a cup of chocolate, for a serving, excuse me. I think that's like half a cup for a serving. And it's like 20 grams carbs. And then it's like 4 grams protein. So, but I don't worry about carbs. I'm not trying to lose weight. I am a powerlifter, so my energy comes from carbs. So I'm more cautious about my fat intake. 1 gram of fat for that chocolate frozen yogurt. So I use a serving of that and a serving of peanut butter. It's just the Fairlife chocolate milk, scoop of protein powder, serving of chocolate frozen yogurt, and a serving of peanut butter, and it's so good. You blend it together. If you use the right amount of Fairlife milk, it just blends into this thick, delicious, creamy, I use crunchy peanut butter, so it's got a little crunch to it. It's so good. But if you use a little bit too much milk and it turns out thinner than maybe you would want it to, just add some ice to it. Add some ice cubes and you're good to go. It's delicious. So this video was a little bit longer than I try to keep them. I'm sorry about that, but I hope it was helpful. I hope that that gave you some ideas for how to implement less meat in your diet. And I will post that video next Friday showing you a day of eating vegetarian style. So keep a lookout for that. Subscribe below if you want to catch that. And if you have any questions at all about making the switch, just leave it below or email me and I would be happy to answer any of those questions for you. So I will see you guys next week. Bye.